You ever just stop and think about the potential locked up inside you? I mean, not just learning stuff, but maybe actually shaping what happens in your life.
That's exactly the kind of fascinating area we're getting into today. A deep dive into Neville Goddard.
Ah, Neville. Right.
Specifically, we're looking at his lecture, The Artist is God. It's from a collection of his works.
Okay, so if you're intrigued by that connection, the one between your inner thoughts and feelings and your outer world, you're definitely in the right place.
Hmm.
We're going to try and unpack Goddard's, well, his big idea that imagination isn't just daydreaming. It's like a real creative force.
Yeah, a fundamental power.
So, yeah, hopefully some real aha moments ahead as we explore his, let's say, unique perspective.
And the source itself, it's a transcription of him actually speaking. So you get his ideas pretty directly, complete with his stories and his particular take on spiritual ideas.
Got it. Okay, the artist is God. That title alone, it grabs you, doesn't it? Where does he start with that?
Well, he starts with this pretty grand concept, God as the ultimate creator, the supreme artist.
Okay.
And God's main goal, according to Goddard, is to craft humanity, to make us in his own image.
Right, shaping us like a sculpture or a painting, maybe?
Something like that. But here's the twist. He gets very specific about where this divine artist actually is.
Oh, not somewhere out there.
No, he argues that fundamentally God is our own human imagination. He explicitly equates imagination with the divine body called the Lord Jesus.
Whoa, okay. So if God is this, like, ultimate imagining power,
Mhm.
and that same power is in us as imagination.
Then yes, the implication is that we have this incredible creative ability that maybe we don't tap into or even recognize.
He talks about desires being images, right? Like
Yeah.
picturing a friend who wants to be doctor,
Exactly. He says every single desire is basically an image you form inside, in your imagination.
like an artist's sketch.
Precisely. And just like an artist focuses on their vision, we can focus on the image of our desires, say that friend really seeing themselves as a doctor. Yep. And Goddard's key principle is this. If you consistently assume the feeling of that image being real, truly feel it, it can actually start reflecting in your life.
So it's about feeling it as done now.
Yes. Living in the assumption. Feeling it as fact, even if your senses say otherwise.
He also brings up this concept of humanity being caught in a deadly dream.
Yeah, the deadly dream. He describes us as being sort of stuck in this state, asleep in a way.
Until when?
Until Christ awakens within us. But he defines Christ as that perfectly formed image of God within each person.
Okay, so that's the big picture.
Yeah.
How's that relate to, say, my personal desire to be a great writer?
Well, that desire becoming a great writer, that's your personal dream in his terms.
Right.
And the way to wake up from just dreaming about it to actually realizing it is to persistently feel what it's like to be that great writer.
Even if I haven't published anything yet.
Especially then. Believe in its reality. Inhabit that feeling no matter what the outside world looks like right now. That's the awakening on the individual level.
So it's much deeper than just positive thinking. It's an active feeling state.
Definitely. Which leads right into how he saw prayer. It's not what most people think.
How so?
For Goddard, prayer isn't really about asking an external deity for things. It's not words mumbled by rote.
Then what is it?
He defines it as the human imagination, actively braced in feeling.
Braced in feeling.
Yeah, like you're taking your imagination, your desired image, and you're fully investing it with the feeling of it being real, of it being already accomplished.
Okay, that's very different from just reciting prayers.
Very. He was quite critical of, religious practices that felt empty or routine, where people just go through the motions without that inner imaginative fire.
And didn't he have some pretty strong views on traditional saints and idols, too?
Yeah.
Based on a psalm.
Yes, Song 115. His interpretation was essentially that if you put your faith in external things, man-made representations, you become like them.
How does he mean?
Well, the psalm describes idols as having eyes but not seeing, ears but not hearing. Goddard suggests that relying on these external things limits your perception, your power. For him, the real power, the source, is always within your imagination.
Not in something outside you.
Never outside, always within.
He uses a story to illustrate this, doesn't he? About a boy named Joseph in Russia. That one really sticks with you.
Oh, absolutely. It's a very vivid example. Joseph came from real poverty. His job involved taking the store's money to the bank.
Okay.
And he noticed something how certain rolls of copper coins looked quite similar visually to the more valuable silver coin rolls.
Ah, I see where this might be going.
Right. So this thought sparks in his imagination. Wouldn't it be amazing if the teller made a mistake? He didn't just think it, he, lived it in his mind.
He imagined the teller handing over the money with the error already made.
Vividly, and crucially, he walked back from the bank feeling the joy and the reality of having received that extra money, even though rationally it hadn't happened. He assumed it.
And then, don't leave us hanging.
The very next day, it happened. The teller made that exact mistake. Handed him too much money, mistaking the copper for silver.
Wow, okay. But then he had a choice to make.
He did, a moral crossroads. Goddard mentions this. Joseph wrestled with it, but ultimately he kept the extra money.
And used it for?
Essentials he'd never had. Clothes, decent food. It was life-changing in that immediate sense.
Now, Goddard acknowledges the ethics are debatable there.
He does. He explicitly says the point isn't to judge Joseph's choice, but to grasp the principle he learned.
Which was?
Joseph recalled hearing a quote, apparently from Sir Anthony Eden, "An assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact."
An assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. That's powerful.
It became Joseph's foundational understanding, the sheer power locked within his own sustained assumptions.
And this wasn't just like a one-time lucky break for Joseph. It shaped his future.
Absolutely. Goddard tells us Joseph went on to become incredibly successful, a multi-millionaire, businesses across countries.
Really, all stemming from that early lesson.
Well, Goddard connects it directly. He says Joseph kept using this principle. For example, in his business, if someone owed him money and was late paying.
He didn't send harsh letters?
Nope. His method was unconventional. He would imagine receiving a letter from that person, thanking him for his patience, and confirming the payment was made. He'd assume the feeling of having been paid.
And did it work?
According to Goddard, yes. He claimed that soon after he performed this imaginal act, the overdue payments would actually arrive.
It's quite a business strategy. Definitely not standard practice.
Not at all. But for Goddard, Joseph's whole life story becomes this powerful testament to how assuming your desire as fulfilled can literally bring it forth.
And he uses it to challenge the listener, us, right?
Correctly. He basically says, look at Joseph, now what do you desire? Go and do likewise. Apply the principle.
Even while acknowledging, that people might critique the starting point of that story.
Right, he shares that awareness, which is interesting. It's about the mechanism, the how, that he's focused on.
Okay, stepping back a bit, Goddard also talks about the bigger picture, the nature of reality itself, this idea that there's nothing but God.
Yes, that's fundamental to his worldview.
So things like evil or Satan, where do they fit in?
For Goddard, they don't, not as independent forces. He saw concepts like the devil or evil as creations arising from our misunderstanding or misuse of the one power, the one God.
Which is?
Which is, again, your own wonderful human imagination. That's it. There isn't some opposing force out there. There's only God, and God is your imagination. Any negativity is a result of how we direct that power.
So the responsibility is entirely ours.
Completely. The power isn't external. It's innate.
And he built a whole kind of theology around this.
Yeah.
About God's image being perfected in us, leading to an awakening.
He did. He saw cosmic history, in a sense, as this grand process where God is gradually perfecting his image within humanity. It's like a divine self-realization project happening through us.
And this leads to a birth from above.
Exactly. An awakening to your true identity. And he symbolizes this moment, this awakening, with the appearance of a child figure. David.
David. Like King David.
Yes, but representing eternal youth. And crucially, David appears as your son.
My son. Why?
Because, in Goddard's framework, this reveals your true identity as God the Father. It's a sign that the image is complete, that you've awakened to your divinity.
That's a lot to take in. Very different from standard interpretation.
Oh, very. And his views on traditional religion followed that pattern. He wasn't big on outward observances just for show.
You mentioned he quoted Paul from Galatians.
Right. Paul questioning people who were overly focused on observing specific holy days, months, seasons.
So Goddard felt that was missing the point.
Completely. His logic was, if God is your own being, your own imagination, then God is present always and everywhere.
So every moment is holy. Every place.
That's it. You don't need a special building or a specific time. Your very existence makes the moment sacred. He even suggested that, taking care of your family, easing their burdens, that might be more spiritually meaningful than just showing up at church out of habit.
It always comes back to the individual's inner state and awareness, doesn't it? Always. Which brings us back to the name of God.
Which he says is,
I am.
I am.
That, for Goddard, is the name of the great artist, the fundamental reality. And it's your own consciousness, your simple awareness of being. That is God.
He also touches on this idea of like a collective beginning, a heavenly man.
Briefly, yes.
Yeah.
He talks about this sort of primordial unity, a collective being, the Elohim, perhaps, who had the initial idea, let us make man in our image.
Okay.
But then this collective being, or parts of it, descended into this deadly dream we talked about, fell into a state of forgetting amnesia.
Forgetting their divine nature. Exactly. But even in that state of forgetting, he believed that the core being, the heavenly man, or your true self, remains faithful deep down, faithful to that original divine image it intended to create.
So even while we're dreaming this dream of life, there's an underlying purpose unfolding.
That's his view. Every experience, every state we embody is part of forming and eventually awakening that perfected image, the Christ within.
Which connects to his really bold claim that, well, that any wish we have is possible right now.
Yes, that's such a powerful assertion. He insists that every wish of your heart is attainable now.
Not someday, but now.
Now. In potential, access through imagination, he warns against letting others tell you what you should want or getting bogged down by apparent difficulties.
Does he give personal examples?
He does. He talks about his own strong desire to be a teacher, a minister of these ideas, despite having, basically no formal religious schooling.
And how did that work out?
He says his persistent inner vision, his assumption of being that teacher, eventually brought it into reality. He became a very influential speaker.
So it's vital to have your own vision then, not just one you borrowed.
Absolutely crucial. He stressed authenticity. He even claimed his understanding of things, like the role of David, didn't come from reading books or commentaries.
Where did it come from then?
He maintained it came from direct personal revelation, inner experience. He contrasted his experiential knowledge with people who just rely on tradition or what others have written.
So he wasn't just spinning theories. He presented it as lived truth for him.
Very much so. He often spoke of his own spiritual experiences, like what he described as a fusion with the risen Lord, as the basis for his teachings. Not speculation, but experience.
Okay, but with all this focus on the inner world, imagination, feeling, what about, paying the bills? Practical life.
Right, good point. He doesn't say neglect that. He calls it Caesar's world, the world of practicalities.
We still have to live in it.
Exactly. He was actually quite pragmatic. He even corrected the idea that Jesus just magically got food. He pointed to Luke's gospel. It mentions specific women who supported Jesus and the disciples financially out of their own means.
Ah, interesting. So practical support was involved.
Yes, and he also used the Apostle Paul as an example. Paul worked, often as a tent maker, to support himself while sharing his spiritual message. So, you handle Caesar's world while doing the inner work.
So the core message really is an invitation.
A powerful invitation to believe this message about your own creative power.
Your imagination.
And then to persist, to form those images of your desires and feel them into reality. To remember that deep down, there was an agreement to undertake this dream of life until that divine pattern is fully realized in you.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what we've really dug into here is Neville Goddard's core idea. Imagination as God, as the creative force in us.
Right, and the mechanism, assuming the feeling of the wish already fulfilled, persistently.
Which implies that we are somehow one with that divine power. We are the artist.
That's the essence of it. A radical shift, really, putting the power and the responsibilities squarely within each person's consciousness.
It definitely gives you a lot to think about. So maybe the question for everyone listening is, thinking about all this, what's just one image, one desire that you'll start to consciously hold in your imagination?
And not just hold it, but really feel it. Assume it's true right now.
Yeah. Or maybe ask, if my imagination really is this divine artist Goddard talks about, what masterpiece am I going to start creating in my life starting today?
Powerful questions. And look, if this sparks something, definitely consider going back to the source. Goddard's lecture, The Artist is God, or maybe check out his other books. There's a lot more there.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for exploring that with us. It's been quite the journey into the power of imagination.
It certainly has.
Until the next deep dive.